It's time!
Oh yeah, it's time for Miss Lou Champion Sports Talk with me, Ronnie Calhoun, and the legend, Joey Martin. It's entertaining, informative, and sometimes a little crazy.
These two guys when I had hair.
For me, it was just all about being coachable, being approachable, being a good team guy, and being where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be.
Where they getting the hair from?
I think they took it from his lower back.
Okay.
And they moved it to the top. Hey guys, before we get started, we want to tell you about our champion partners. Gregg Vet Clinic, Hicks Chicks, Syrah Technologies, Kenny Chesney's Blue Chair Bay Rum, J&J Flooring and Natural Stone, Concordia Bank, and all of our awesome partners that you see on the screen right now. Make sure to do business with them and tell them Miss Lou Champion sent you. Enjoy the show. Hey guys, Ronnie Calhoun here with Miss Lou Champion Sports Talk. Back in studio with my man Joey Martin. How are you?
I'm good. Always glad to be back here with you guys.
That's right, brother. As always, we're brought to you by Magnolia Bluff Casino. Make sure to catch all the playoff games down there in the sportsbook section. TVs everywhere. And as always, we're driven by Sango GMC. My buddy Mark Sanguinetti and his champion team. Go visit them for all of your new and used car needs. They will definitely take care of you. Thank you to all of our partners, including Concordia Sentinel, serving the Miss Lou since 1876. And thank you to all of our veterans and military men and women serving all over the world right now. We certainly appreciate what you guys are doing. We've got an awesome show today. Coach Dee Faircloth.
Absolutely.
Legend. Always a great time whenever we have
stories, brother.
I've never hung out with Coach and had a bad time.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite human beings on the planet. And just glad that we got to be a part of his journey, man. Great guy.
You got it.
So, but before we get Coach in, let's dive into see what kind of little local stuff we got going this week.
Talk a little basketball. It's getting close to that playoff time and tournament time. And Vidalia's High's basketball teams posted impressive district wins over Bolton Academy Tuesday. Boys 51-18, girls 48-12. And they're hosting Marksville Friday, so that's a huge game for them. Monterey High split a pair of games at Falls River. Lady Wolves won 69-18. Monterey boys fell 64-34. And over Fairleigh High boys took a tough loss against Madison. Madison's very good. They're like top 3 in the division.
Where are they out of?
Tallulah.
Okay.
And yeah, they're in the district above Fairleigh, and they're number 3, so they're really good. Tough game there, but look for them to bounce back.
Did they give them a good game, or
it wasn't? It was a blowout, which was surprising.
Wow.
I was very disappointed to Coach Davis, but he'll get them right.
Yeah.
The girls also got beat 37-31. Delta Charter was swept by General Trask. Tough game for them. A tough year, but very, very young. Natchez boys, they lost 58-55 to North Pike Tuesday. The girls lost a close one as well, 46-44. But the boys, 13-7, girls 15-6, and I expect both teams, Natchez teams, to do well in playoffs. Cathedral boys 10-12. The girls are 17-7. AC boys 19-5, playing really good ball. AC girls 2-10. Cathedral and AC play tomorrow at AC, so that should be heck of a couple of games right there.
Yeah, always a good little rivalry.
Yes.
And well, no matter what the sport is, no matter what the record is.
Okay.
That's right. Anything else that we have on the local?
That's pretty much it. Fairleigh High is adding a couple of sports, powerlifting, baseball, and softball. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Okay. Well, we appreciate
Natchez kids sign as well, and minor kids. So we'll look more into that next week, and hoping to talk more about the football foundation that'll be coming up next month.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna have somebody on next week to talk about it.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Well, appreciate everything that you do to keep up with the local sports. If you're out there, grab a Concordia Sentinel. Man, I still love reading the paper. I love opening it up, and it's just something that I don't know.
I'm glad to hear that.
I mean, it's something. I mean, I really do enjoy it and love it.
I think a lot of people do. So
I do too.
For that.
I do too. And you guys are doing a wonderful job. I mean, I think that you guys have one of the strongest papers in a long, many miles. So
thank you.
Big part of the community. So while you're out there, pick up a Concordia Sentinel and check out some of the articles out there. And we'll be right back after a quick break with the man, Coach Dee Faircloth.
Playtime, game time. Anytime is a good time at Magnolia Bluffs Casino Hotel. 'Tis the season for winning at Magnolia Bluffs Casino Hotel. It's always a good time. Visit MagnoliaBluffsCasino.com.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
Located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff.
Where everyone is family.
Guys, Ronnie and Shannon here with Miss Lou Champion Spotlight.
And we're here at our amazing partners, Gregg Veterinary Hospital.
Gregg Veterinary Hospital has been providing comprehensive, reliable, cutting-edge veterinary services to pets in the Miss Lou since 2002.
They welcome pets of all shapes and sizes who are in need of emergency treatment or who require routine medical, surgical, and dental care.
Dr. Gregg and his team offer a long list of services, including in-house laboratory diagnostics, digital x-ray, soft tissue, orthopedic surgery, dental care, extractions, laser surgery, laser therapy, preventative health, and wellness plans.
And if you need grooming and boarding services, they do that too.
So call Gregg Vet today.
Hi, it's Shannon with Miss Lou Champion Spotlight. If you like what we're doing, be sure to follow, like, share, and even comment on all our content. Also, visit MissLouChampions.com to sign up for our newsletter and to receive other information, as well as the opportunity to receive some awesome prizes. Thank you, Miss Lou, for your continued support, and as always, have a champion day.
All right, guys, we are back with the legend, Coach Dee Faircloth. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good. Got a chance to get out of the house.
We're glad to have you here, man. Always good seeing you.
It's good to see you too.
Joey told me, he said, I got Coach Faircloth coming in this week. What you think about that? I said, man, we could get him in every week and I'd be happy. So always good seeing you, man. We go back a long ways.
Long time.
And I bet y'all go back further than that.
Yeah.
So, Joey, you want to get us started?
Sure. First mention, glad to have you, Coach Faircloth. He is 12th among Louisiana high school coaches as far as number of wins. And JT Curtis, your favorite person, just hit 600 wins this year. Don Shaw is the number 5. Coach Faircloth, if you just count one school, being at one school, he is the 5th winningest coach.
Wow.
And of course, your
Coach, I didn't know that.
Your buddy Stephen Fitzhugh at Ouachita Christian, y'all been friends along.
We've
Every
been
time I
great
talk
friends.
to him, how's Coach Faircloth? But he actually got up to 264 wins this year, 26 years. He passed David Courier and another friend of yours, Charlie Brown.
My old teacher, Charlie Brown.
That's awesome. He was at Neville, legendary coach there. So great to have you here, Coach. And just want to start out. I was talking, well, actually, Cordell Bailey at Faraday called me last week. And
Great
he said,
coach.
oh, absolutely. Great coach, great guy. He's down in Lafayette. He said, there's one thing I never did I want to do. If you can help me out with it. I said, sure. He said, I want to thank my booster club. He said, I don't really feel like I thank them enough. And a lot of these guys are older and we're all getting up in age. And I just wanted to make that point. I said, well, consider it covered. But you had one of the best booster clubs around. How important was that to the program?
Oh, it was tremendous. I mean, that was what kept us going. Mm-hmm. Anytime I needed anything, I could go to them and they'd be right there. One time they used to help me mark off field on Thursday nights. So it was a great thing to have. Can't do without it.
Yeah. And you had some good cooks for them fundraisers.
I had great cooks. Great cooks. I remember Joe DeLalio used to cook our steaks for us every time we fed the team steaks, and they were the best steaks I've ever eaten.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, look, Joe, we're going to throw a spaghetti dinner here pretty soon. Can you cook the spaghetti? He said, oh, yeah, I'll do it. His wife came up and said, what in the world are you doing? Joe don't know nothing about cooking spaghetti. I said, and now you tell me?
Well, with a last name like that, you would think you know about
Yeah,
spaghetti.
that's why I said DeLalio's got to be able to cook spaghetti.
Yeah, you would think.
But he did it, didn't he?
He did it. He did it. And when he quit doing it, we were lost. We were lost because he had he was a dump cook. And so he didn't have anything that we could go by.
Huh. Oh, wow.
But he was a tremendous person. Joe ran my chains for me for 20 years.
Oh, you had a heck of a chain crew with
the
Henry
officials,
Cooley, Charles Partridge.
The officials out of Ellick that called our game told me one time, says, we want to recommend your chain crew to work the championship games in the Superdome. I said, well, go ahead. I said, because they're the best. They were the best.
Absolutely.
So
they would tell the referees what to do.
Yeah, they keep them straight, you know.
But that was a heck of a crew. And
tremendous.
that's something you don't find now is coaches have a hard time getting people to run the chain crew.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I mean, I know there's
have a hard time finding players to play these days.
That too. But there was 3 or 4 games last year where it come down to last minute. Coach, you got to have somebody for the chains, and they did have to fish somebody out of the stands or something in it, and you can tell the difference.
Oh, I was always armed with that prospect because if you go out of town and you play, you can put one of your people on the chain to even it out. And we went up and played McCall one year, and I looked over chain crew was there getting ready for the game. I said, it's 3 youngsters. They look like they're 8 years old. I said, oh, that ain't going to run. And I said, Joe, come out of the stands and run the chain. And he did. He took him 5-10 minutes to get down out of the stand, but he got down there. And he was having a hard time motoring in those days. And during the ball game, we had a rookie crew of officials. So they came over to take the chain out and measure where the ball was. And so this young referee grabbed up the chain, went running out on the field 90 miles an hour. And Joe was back in, and he was holding on like a guy with a kite. And all our fans would holler, let it go, Joe. Let it go. He didn't. That's Joe. He didn't let it go of that thing. But it's
was that the game with Levi Washington?
Yeah.
At McCall?
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't know where it was, where the mark was.
Oh, they were on the 45-yard line, and it was first down something. And they threw a pass, and we intercepted it about the 5-yard line. Well, I knew it was intercepted. I mean, my kid was way in bounds. So teams started changing units, and all of a sudden, the referee goes down there and gets the ball and walks it back toward the midfield. And I said, whoa. I said, what are you doing? He said, Coach, he was out of bounds when he intercepted the ball. I said, okay, so that means we're going back to the 45? He said, that's right. We're going back to put the ball on 45. And then he goes over and talks to Levi on the other sideline. And he comes back and takes the ball and marks it all the way down to the 29-yard line. I said, whoa. I said, I thought you said you're going to put it on 45. He said, well, he said it's on the 29. I said, well, who's he? He said, Levi on us. I said, he's not a referee. He got a brown shirt on. Guess where it ended up? On 29.
Oh, my goodness.
God.
Coach, I always got to get you to tell just, I know you've shared this story with us a couple times, but talk about how you got to Vidalia and all of that, how you became the coach at Vidalia. That cracks me up every time.
That is a story and a half. My dad had coached at Manny, and he had a heart attack and passed away during the season, at the end of the season. And so I went to Manny, and I got to coach that team while I was still in school at Northeast. So when they had an opening, they called me at Manning. They said, Coach wants you to come over and interview for the job. I said, I'd be glad to. So I went over and interviewed with the principal, school board, everybody that had anything to do with anything in Manning. And they came out of the meeting and said, Coach, the job is yours. You're the new head coach at Manning High School. I said, that's great. She said, we're going to send you a contract in the mail. You should get it in 2 or 3 days. I said, well, that sounds good. So 2 or 3 days passed. I didn't have any mail. So I tried to call somebody in Manning and see what happened to my contract. It didn't come through the mail. And couldn't get anybody. So that Saturday, I drove to Manning. And I couldn't find anybody. So I pulled up this little old convenience store to get something to drink. I walked in there and told the guy behind the counter, I said, y'all ever find you a coach? And he said, we sure did. I started saying, well, I'm him. And the guy said, you ever heard of Lou Remkus? I said, Lou Remkus? I said, yeah. I said, Lou Remkus was the head coach of Houston Oilers. Billy Cannon was playing for him. They won the AFL championship. I know, yeah, that's Lou Remkus. I said, well, he's the new coach at Manning. And I was going, Lou Remkus? My name's not Lou. And I am so glad to this day. Thank the Lord Lou got that job. Because he went 0-11. He lost 11 straight games. Now, what would I have done if a pro coach loses 11 straight games? Jeez.
Well, that certainly worked out well.
Yeah. I always love that one.
God, he took care of me. So I signed at Kinder with Johnny Buck, great coach. They were state champions the year before. And before I got there, I got a call from Walter Stampley, who was principal at Vidalia at the time. And he said, Coach, he said, I told Coach White at Northeast, and he highly recommended you. Said, you want to come over and interview with us? And I said, well, Mr. Stampley, I said, I done signed a contract with Kinder. I'm a Kinder coach now. He said, well, okay. And I hung up the phone. I got to thinking. I said, my dad always told me, always keep all your doors open because you never know. So I called him back and I said, yeah, I'll come interview. So I did. And I interviewed with the superintendent and Coach Lonzo, great coach, Mr. Stampley. And they were sitting in there and they said, you got any questions? And I said, yeah, when would I get my first paycheck if I came to Vidalia? They said, you'd get it at the end of July. I said, July? Kinder going to pay me at the end of October. I said, I'll be on the lunch line. So I said, where do I sign? So that's how I ended up in Vidalia.
Oh, wow.
Never regretted it, you know.
There's a lot of Vikings that are glad old Lou came along and messed things up.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm really glad.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
You talked about your coaching day. You're a graduate assistant at Northeast?
Yeah.
Of course, you suffered your third concussion?
Yeah. During the spring workouts, I suffered another concussion. I'd already had 2 in high school. So they ruled that I couldn't play anymore. So I said, I don't know what I'm going to do without football. So Coach White, who was the head coach, said, I want you to be one of my graduate assistants. And I was for 3 years. Learned a lot of football from him. He's winningest coach that had come to Northeast at that time. He's a great coach. Tough as a boot.
You played quarterback, right?
I played quarterback, yeah. In fact, I'd earned my starting job my sophomore year.
Oh, wow.
Till they found out I couldn't play. And then I got moved over to the sideline. So it's but that was great days at Northeast.
So how many of those concussions were targeting?
The first one retarded me, and I ain't been over it since. I think that's what's really wrong with me. That's why I can't remember where I parked my car when I got over there.
Oh, my goodness. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, well, speaking of, what do you think of the changes in college football? The NIL, the transfer portal?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. NIL is going to end up ruining college football. When you can go anywhere you want, anytime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I played at Northeast, they gave us our room and our books and our meals and $15 for laundry every month. So we was happy as hoot house. We can't imagine what it'd be these days, but I think it's the worst thing that's ever happened to college football. And, I mean, college coaches now, they have to recruit high school youngsters. Then they have to go back and recruit their own team to make sure they don't leave in the portal. I said, that's why Nick Saban left.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he just immediately, boom. He saw it coming.
He wasn't going to play that game.
I just saw something online earlier, and it was talking about Carson Beck that played at Georgia, and now he just transferred over to Miami. They said he's received or negotiated $10 million in NIL money in the past 12 months between Georgia and Miami.
Wow.
And then it showed the NFL quarterbacks that he's going to make $4 million this year, I believe. And it had a list of NFL quarterbacks who are making less than him. Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, both made the playoffs in the NFL. This college kid making more money than they are. So it's all upside down.
It really is.
The NFL's caused a lot of locker room jealousy.
Yeah.
His lineman sitting there and says, I'm blocking for that guy and he making millions of dollars. I just might not block for him anymore. And it's your chemistry is destroyed, and chemistry is the whole part of a football team, your chemistry. You don't have chemistry, you're not in real good shape.
Right.
You think that that's a pretty common thing that somebody on that line might be like, you know what, I'm tired of this guy back here. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Or receivers or whatever,
Well, especially when they can just leave the next year.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
But that was the key,
Yeah, and they were talking about development, talking about how a lot of players, they develop in their third and fourth years, and then they go on to the pros, and their sound technique and stuff like that, and they play in the league for a while, but bouncing around every year, you can't even develop. I mean, there's no consistency.
No.
Different coaches every time you turn around. I mean, how are you supposed to develop as a player at your position?
No, there's no way.
Crazy.
Yeah, I was listening to the new West Monroe coach, DeMichael Dizer, and he was a strength and conditioning coach there. And last week was named head coach. And he was talking, he said, I would do a laundry for 164 players every week. And I couldn't help but think about you in that laundry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What was that, every Saturday you'd be up there?
It would start Friday night after the ball game. And that's when you started your washing for the weekend. I'd get through about 3 or 4 in the morning, Have to hang them up.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. And I used to tell my kids, you better put that jersey in the pile with the number on the outside so that I don't have to go in there and redo it. And if they didn't, that number showed up inside out, he gonna run belly flops. And they try and tell me that in the wash, those things sometimes turn all the way over. I said, that's good, and I like that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, we talked about the college game, but how do you think the high school game has changed since?
Oh, it's changed.
Since you're,
it's changed dramatically.
It probably changed a lot in your
I
career,
saw it,
right?
Yeah, I saw it change from the first day I was coaching in Vidalia till my last day there. I could tell you a lot of changes, And I know my last 2 ball clubs, both of them went pretty deep in the playoffs. And they asked me one day, said, Coach, how would we fare against your first few teams? I said, it'd be snot out, you guys. I said, they're as tough as all get out,
Yeah, I remember you saying no air conditioning and stuff back then, and like just tougher kids, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was, I remember when I was playing high school ball under my dad, and we practiced 2 times a day. In the morning when it was dew all over around, and we come back about 1 o'clock when it was the heat of the day. And it was something else. I said, I remember one time we left morning practice, went to there, and Debbie get us something to drink. And one of my teammates said, y'all see that pack of dogs that came across the field this morning? And well, we was in a fenced in area, and we was looking at them. wasn't any dogs out there. He said, oh, yeah, it's about 7 or 8 of them ran right through practice. I said, you'll be all right when we get you to the hospital. I think he dehydrated at that point.
I've seen some dogs running.
And in those days, you didn't get water.
Yeah.
There was no water at the practice field.
Mm.
And the only water you got when the manager would come around, wipe your face off with a towel, and it'd be already soaked up with other people's sweat. And you sit there and you suck on that towel trying to get moisture in your mouth. It was great. It was great days.
Now, George Cupid and Robert Savant, they talked about you poked holes in a garden hose, strung it through the fence, and that was your water.
Yeah, I was always thinking of innovation, you know.
You were always ahead of the game.
When I first came there, I made a drink on my own to rival Gatorade. Anyway, it's called Viking Ale. And it was water and salt and sugar. And then I cut up about 12 lemons and throw them in there. Kind of like lemonade. They loved it because that's water they got, you know. So it was.
It's the best drink around.
Oh, yeah. I could have sold it for like $5 a teaspoon.
Especially after practice.
I guarantee you.
What about, I know the kids were tougher and stuff, but do you think that as far as the skill goes, you think that kids are more skilled these days, maybe?
Kids are bigger, faster, stronger. They got more skill than they ever had, you know. And that was the difference. It comes from right in here where you just commit everything on the line.
I guess they didn't have all these camps and stuff back then as often and as much.
No, the camps were me.
And that's speaking of that. That's one of the things. Faraday basketball coach Sean Davis. Sean.
Oh, I know Sean.
Yeah. He's talked to me all year complaining. He said, "Kids, I talk to them, complain to their parents. They're not getting the proper nutrition, staying out late, and just not eating the right food." And he said, they just don't realize.
No.
And he said, by the fourth quarter, we're done.
And see, in my first days, there wasn't a lot of air conditioning.
Uh-huh.
I mean, your cars weren't air conditioned. Your houses usually had an attic fan. And so it was different. Nowadays, you're in an air conditioned house, you get up and get an air conditioned car, go to an air conditioned building. Mm-hmm. I said, it's a lot different. A lot different. It's that's what I always worried about, heat exhaustion. Yeah. Kids not used to it. And I used to get a lot of kids, they'd get sick during practice. And the first thing I'd ask them, I said, did you eat dinner today? Did you eat in the cafeteria today? And no, I didn't eat today. I said, you can't come to practice on an empty stomach because you're going to get sick as all get out, you know. And they did.
We were talking about, you brought up those guys that were in here a few weeks ago. They were talking about that 37. Is that right? 37 consecutive
straight quarters. We didn't give up a point.
Do you think that that's one of your better teams? Who are some of your better teams that you think you had? I know that's one of them.
That was a great one. My 85 team was a great one. Of course, the 73 team had the scoreless quarters. The 85 team was really good. We should have won state, but our running back got hurt, and it kind of put the whammy on us. Of course, my last two ball clubs, pretty daggum good ball clubs. In fact, we ended up playing Manny in the semifinals.
In the 2003 team, obviously.
2003 team, well, that was probably my best team. Yeah. I mean, they went 13-0. They's number one in the state.
Wins, road wins in New Orleans, and
that was that West St. John year.
West St. John, yeah. We just happened to play a small college team.
Yeah, if you'd have played Sterlington, this was.
That was my goal. I wanted to play
you'd have made
Sterlington.
The dome.
Yeah, we'd have gone to the dome.
Because this was before Sterlington really got good.
Yeah.
Did West St. John make it? Did they win it that year?
Yeah, they won.
Okay, they won the whole thing.
Interesting story about Sterlington. Of course, when I played against Sterling High School, they were just starting their program. And later on, Dale Ashley came from Pickering, a great coach, came to Sterlington. So I called him when he got to Sterlington, and I said, well, Coach, why don't we get together and play a ball game? And he said, Coach, look, my team is not where it needs to be to play you, so we're going to have to decline. I said, okay, I understand, Coach. So a couple of years later, after I'd lost all my good players, I had a bunch of freshmen starting. He called me. He said, Coach, let's play. I said, Coach, my team is not where it needs to be right now, so I'm going to decline. But they have a great program.
Oh, yeah, they do.
My nephew coached Gene, and they played him in the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that was the best coached team that he'd ever gone against. He said they were awesome coaches and great players.
Yeah.
And we had this was great. We threw a football camp in my final years, and one of my old players brought his son from Sterlington to be in our camp. He was a youngster, he's 7, 8 years old, a little Bozeman kid. Mm-hmm. And we went through that camp, and I told Chris, his dad, and Junior, his granddad, I said, this boy is going to be something special. I said, he was head and shoulders above every other kid we had at this camp. Well, that kid ended up 3-year starter at center for Sterlington and made all-state composite team, which is all classes together. And
wow.
They called me and said, you said he was going to be great. I said, I didn't lie to you. And my nephew said he was the best center he'd ever played against. Said, that boy came off the line so fast, got to our linebackers, that we put a guy on his head just to tackle him to keep him off our linebacker. He said, they didn't stop him. He went around him like crap to a goose.
What is some and you may not be able to think of any off the top of your head, but is there any funny things on the sidelines that happened throughout the years or something, like any kind of just unexpected moments or funny things that you remember?
I remember one, it wasn't real funny at the time. We played Jonesboro Hodge, and during the ball game, we returned a punt, and of course one of their players came after the punt returner and missed him and kept coming right over in our sideline. And a little bit later on, kids came to him and said, Coach, you better go check on Coach Smith, Damon Smith. I said, why? He said, he got hurt. I said, well, he ain't even playing. What do you mean he got hurt? He said, you better go check on him. I looked over there. He was floating in the water. It was raining cats and dogs. And fire ants was all over him.
Oh, my goodness.
He had to have knee surgery after that.
Right.
And
so they just clipped him or something?
Yeah, what he's trying to do is get out of the way, but he couldn't. And that guy just took him out, took him out at the knees. That happened to me one time at Faraday High. Of course, when we played Faraday, it was a standing room only. Yeah. And people on our sidelines, and everybody's jammed in there. And I'm standing there, and we ran a sweep. And Faraday, of course, was chasing him, and one of them just caught me right at both shins. First thing hit was my nose on the ground. And I got up, my glasses all smashed up. And the little Faraday center said, Coach, you okay? I said, yeah, y'all can't hurt me. And I was going. So it was something else. But we've always had funny stuff happen on the sideline.
You had a group of coaches that we've sat down with a few of them now. So.
Great coaches, great individuals, and always had we laughed all the time. And that was the key, is to laugh and laugh at everything, even if it was bad. And so I was fortunate to have them, particularly Johnny Lee. I could get Johnny Lee, we go to Las Vegas right now and let him go on stage, make millions of dollars.
Stand up?
Yeah, stand-up comedian. I'd handle the money and he'd be on stage.
Yeah, that story with You and him in the faculty meetings always. I love to crack up about that.
Oh, we had more fun. He and I would sit with our back to the rest of the faculty over in the corner, and we kind of talked to each other, pass the time. It was so exciting in there. And we had one of our English teachers. She said, I tell you what, I don't know about y'all, but I have worked like a dog this week. And look, about 10 minutes later, John Lee tapped me and he said, "What's a dog?" I said, "It's something from the north."
And of course, the clock.
Oh, the clock. Yeah, we're sitting by the clock, which had no glass face on it. So John Lee just reached up there and got those hands on that clock and turned it around. And Mr. Suggs was our principal. And he said, "Oh, we got to hurry up and get out of here. It's almost 10 minutes till 4. Look, we never did tell him what had happened. If he sees this, he'll know. He'll
get in trouble all these years later.
Yeah, he'd be putting Johnny in detention.
Well, I got to talk also about your games with South Natchez and that first one at Vidalia. That was unbelievable.
That was a classic. The coach at Natchez called me, and he was state champion.
Right.
He said, "Coach, why don't we play this coming fall?" I said, "Coach, are you in the Red Top Lounge right now?" I said, "Play you and you're the state champion?" He said, "Oh, it'll be a good money game." Well, he up and left.
Yeah, Ed Reed, right.
Ed Reed, great coach. Ed left and went over to Alabama somewhere. Yeah. So my buddy took over.
Joey Porter.
Porter. Joey took over the reins at South Natchez. So when we played them, we was 3-0. We was ranked way up, maybe second or third in the state. And of course, they were ranked number 1 in Mississippi. And we agreed to play them. I said, in my weakest moments, I agreed to that. And we played them out there. And my kids went out to warm up. And they came back in. Their eyes looked like dinner plates. I said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Coach, the stadium is full. It's full out there." At 5:30, and it was a tremendous ball game. Mm-hmm. Everybody had played on Thursday night in this area, and they was all at that ball game.
Mm-hmm. I know you walked up the stands to the top of the stands.
Yeah, I just walked up to the top of the stands. Like 4:30 or somewhere like that. Nothing but cars coming out of Natchez. And they were parked at Ridgecrest. They was parked all the way down the highway. I mean, it was a full house. Mm-hmm. I remember those officials from Elliott, when I went out there to talk, they said, "What's going on?" I said, "It's a slobber knocker." And it was a good ball game. I had Keith Woodside, who went and played for the Green Bay Packers. And it was a heck of a ball game. Yeah. In fact, one of the doctors out of Natchez came to that ball game. He told me, said, "That's the best football game I'd ever seen." Said it was tremendous. Of course, they beat us,
Yes, 36-22, I think.
36-22, something like that. But we made a ton of money. Mm. And we didn't charge but $3 a ticket in those days. No telling what we'd have. We'd charge $10. But it was...
and you got to tell Fred Falkenheimer's story.
Fred's going to help me out. Fred's a great person, greatest person ever. He said, "Coach, I'm going to get in a plane and I'm going to fly over your practice field and I'm going to drop these leaflets that South Natchez had apparently made, all that stuff." I said, "Well, that's a great idea, Fred." So we was out at practice. I saw that plane coming. I said, "Oh, here comes Fred." Well, Fred tossed all those leaflets out of the plane, and the wind blew them all the way over to the levee. I hit my field. They said, "Cole, what is that?" I said, "I'll run over and see what that is." They brought some back, and I said, "Look at this." I told Fred, I said, "It's a good thing you wasn't bombing Essens during World War II. You'd have hit London." But it's
I don't know if I've heard that one. Oh man,
it was something else.
do you remember any good? You remember any good pranks or pranksters that you had throughout the years? Any of them stand out to you?
Seth Greer has to be here at the time.
Oh, there's a ton of those. One of the worst ones I had pulled on was one of my coaches, Tommy Lannis. We fixing to play McCall out of Tallulah. Well, they were late getting there. I mean, we was fixing to go out and warm up, and they wasn't there. I said, oh, geez. And so Tommy sneaked out of the coach's office, went over to the band room, got on the phone, and called my office. And I picked up the phone. He said, Coach, this is Coach Smith from McCall. We broke down on the highway out here. I said, well, look, you want me to send you a bus? He said, no, I think we got it going now. He says, we was almost to Sicily, and he caught himself, because Sicily Island ain't near about going to Tallulah. And he said, oh, we outside of Waterproof. And so I said, okay, I'll tell everybody it's going to be a little late. So I left out of there, and I walked toward the ticket booth where Mr. Stampy was on guard. And Tommy came over, and he's laughing. He came in the office and said, where's Coach? And he said, he went to tell Mr. Stampy there's going to be a delay in the game. He could have been on an Olympic team coming around that corner and hollering, Coach, that was me. That was me talking to you. Come on back over here. I said, it's a good thing I didn't get to Mr. Stampy when you was there. But you talking about that. Pat Greer, one of the greatest we ever had. He and Tommy were big friends, played with each other at Tech. Well, Pat did his student teaching under me. So he was in my office at a dinner break, and he got behind. He saw Tommy coming through the gym toward the office. So he got behind the door with a broom. He gonna whap him over the head with that broom. And Tommy was coming right at the last moment. He turned and went into the dressing room. Well, at that same time, here come Walter Stampley from the gym coming through the door. And Pat was over there with his broom fixing to whop the principal. And almost broke his arm stopping the motion. And Mr. Stampy came over, stood by my desk, tell me something. And he looked behind him and he said, Coach, what is he doing? He's over there sweeping. He said, oh, he's cleaning up the office. I said, geez. I said, Pat, if you'd hit him, you would not have graduated.
Well, you talk about teams being late. One of my favorite stories, too, was when y'all played Winnsboro with Booger McFarland.
Winnsboro.
And scrimmage. Okay.
Yeah, scrimmage.
And their bus ran out of gas, and you go to the top of the stadium and look down the highway, and here comes the bus, and they're pushing it.
Was flying. It was going 60 miles an hour. You know why? The whole team was pushing it, and they were monsters. They was all 6'4".
You knew you were in trouble then, huh?
I said, oh, I don't know if we need to play this thing or not.
They pushing their bus from one.
They pushed the bus down the highway. He's going past Walmart at 78 miles an hour. I said, oh, gosh, this ain't going to be good.
Oh, my goodness.
It was something else.
Oh, man. We got time for a couple more. I'll do one more, Joe, and then let you get us to the next segment. But I just want to ask you, Coach, what do you want the players to remember from your time there, and the people you coached with and the players and all of that? What do you want them to remember?
I want to remember that they enjoyed it, even though it was really hard. Some of the worst times they've ever had, but I wanted them to enjoy playing football. And I think most of them did. They always have those stories and make it a lot worse than what it really was. And they'd tell those kids coming up out of junior, oh, you get up here, you're going to die. And, that kind of thing. And we'd run those 30-30s at practice, and I'd start off every year running about 12. 30-30s, which is you sprint 30 yards and then you jog back to the starting line. That's one. You run 30 of those. And so they would get in their heads, but it's going to be 30-30s. So the first day I'd run 12, second day I'd run 14. I'd kind of gradually go up. By the third day, they said, Coach, let's stop this mess. Let's go ahead and go and run 30. We can do it. We can run 30. And they did. And that's why they are so conditioned.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Coach Hancock said, how'd you play football with kids going both ways? I said, I run the heck out of them. I said, they could have played all night long.
Yeah.
Got that from my dad. I used to say I was going to sneak in his bedroom, put a pillow over his head, smother him before I go through another practice. He was tough. I mean, he put it on us.
Well, a lot of people may not realize you were head coach of softball team one year. And how big a change was that? And first of all, you coached your daughter's softball team in the summers, so you kind of knew what you were doing.
I was assistant under Gary Paul Porno.
Okay.
And one of my girls says, Coach, why don't you coach us like you coach those boys on the football team? I said, there wouldn't be nobody left but me. Y'all be gone after first practice. It was, they prided themselves on that.
Yeah.
And my nephew that coaches at Gina, his coaching staff at Gina says, come here. Did it really happen like that over there at Vidalia under Coach Faircloth? Said, was it really that tough? He said, was it that tough? I was right in the middle of all of it. Yeah, it was that tough. Said he liked to kill us every day. Said, but we didn't have injuries,
That's right.
Keep it from having injuries.
Well, the last thing I got to ask you, what do you think about Belichick in college now?
That astounded me.
Yeah.
I'm going, what? I was like Tom Brady. They asked Tom Brady, said, how you think Coach Belichick doing in college? And him and Gronk and Edelman said, no.
Yeah. I was shocked too.
Tom Brady said, yeah, I see him recruiting a high school kid. Say, you want to come over here? Well, I don't know. Well, it don't matter. You're not no good anyway, so you don't have to come over here. But I'm surprised that they hadn't got him in the pros.
Yeah.
But what it is with these owners, they don't want to. They know he wants to run the show, and they don't want to give up that power.
Right.
And everybody's saying, I think he might go to Dallas. I said, no.
No way.
No, he ain't going to listen to Jerry Jones.
Right.
This actually leads us in, Coach. We do another segment after this where we wrap up the show talking a little bit of college and pro. So you want to stick around with us for one more segment? All right. Well, that's right. We'll be right back to wrap up the show and talk a little college and pro football, and we'll get Coach Faircloth's take too.
Hey y'all, it's Ronnie and Shannon with Miss Lou Champion Spotlight.
And we want to tell you about our awesome partner, J.E. Hicks Distributing Company, also known as
Hicks Chicks. Hicks Chicks is a local, family-owned food distribution company that has been serving the Miss Lou since 1945. You already know they serve all of your favorite restaurants, but did you know that they are also open to the public?
Hicks Chicks has a variety of food products, including delicious heat and eat options like chicken and dumplings, white bean chicken chili, lasagna, and gumbo. They also carry a wide variety of seafood options like shrimp, crabs, tuna steaks, salmon, and catfish.
And don't forget about their delicious burgers that are already pattied up for you, and their amazing dessert options.
So stop by today at 1380 Martin Luther King Jr. Road in Natchez. Hicks Chicks.
Way more than just chicken.
Hey guys, Ronnie Calhoun here with Miss Lou Champion Spotlight, and I want to tell you about our awesome partners, Wardo's Po' Boys. Wardo's was created in honor of Alan Ward Granting III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country. We want to tell you about our champion partners, Gregg Vet Clinic, Hicks Chicks, Syrah Technologies, Kenny Chesney's Blue Chair Bay Rum, J&J Flooring and Natural Stone, Concordia Bank, and all of our awesome partners that you see on the screen right now. Make sure to do business with them and tell them Miss Lou Champion sent you. All right, guys, we are back telling some good stories during the break right here. But yeah, we're going to wrap the show up with a little college and pro football talk. I guess we'll start with college. We talked a little NIL a while ago, but we got the big game coming up next Monday night. I guess we'll go back to the Final Four. And what was your thoughts? I think you took Penn State.
I did.
Yeah, and that's a close game. I mean, that could have went either way. What was y'all's thoughts on that matchup? About what you was thinking it would be, or?
Yeah, it was. I think the committee that picked those 12 teams, the thing they messed up on was going by records, championships, and not considering the type of football people were playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like there was a couple of SEC teams that could have been a lot more representative of it. But I always pull for coaches rather than teams. I really like the Notre Dame coach, and I like the Ohio State coach. And I'm glad he's winning. He's under fire, you know. They're going to run him slap out of town. He's won about 80% of his games. And so I was glad that he's got as far as he's got, you know. So it ought to be a pretty good ball club, ball game.
I'll tell you what do you think about this little tear that Ohio State's on? I mean, they've been on a little run. I mean, I was in Nashville talking to some Ohio State guys at this little bar and restaurant or whatever, and we looked up, it's 34-0. Even the Ohio State fans were like, we did not see this coming. They were as shocked as everybody else.
They got a wake-up call when Michigan beat them, and they went back to doing what they were going to do, and that's why they're on the run right now. And they're going to be tough to beat. Ohio State be tough to beat.
I know they say sometimes that there's no good losses, but I don't know. I think sometimes
you can
tail whip. Yeah,
it gets your kids focused, back to what they're supposed to be doing, and so it ought to be pretty good.
Yeah, who do you think is going to pull it out Monday night?
I'm going Ohio State. I just, like he's talking about, they're just on that roll. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and their defense is really playing well.
I'm going with Ohio State too.
I guess you have to go with Ohio State. I mean, anybody if you were betting money, you have to go Ohio State. Let me ask it a different way though. If those two teams played 10 times, how many do you think Notre Dame could take them?
Maybe 3.
You think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
they take them.
You think that they're at least that competitive?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I really do.
Yeah, Notre Dame does look stronger on the lines than they did when they played Georgia. I think we were talking about it, and Coach, I told Joey, I said, if you would have taken the names off the helmets and just watched the teams, you would have thought that they were the power team. They beat them all on both sides of the line. So I don't know. I think that they've got better defensive and offensive line, bigger and stronger than they had in the past.
Yeah.
When they tried to go up against Alabama, you remember how that worked out back in the day.
Right.
But Coach, what are your thoughts on? I know you're not a huge LSU fan or anything like that, but what are your thoughts on where the Tigers are at right now, where they're headed?
I think they're going to be all right. I've always liked Brian Kelly. You know, a lot of LSU fans. You know, but I think hell, he's won more football games than any other college coach. He won more games than Nick Saban. But his deal, he needs to get some real good assistants. That's the deal. College coaches, they don't do any coaching. They just organize, and your coach is the one to do the coaching. So I think that's part of the deal, you know. But I think they're gonna be all right. I pull for any SEC team if they playing anybody else, you know.
Are you an Aggie?
Oh yeah. At one time I was an Aggie.
Yeah.
I was an Aggie. So
I still remember your Keith Woodside poster hanging in your office. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always be an Aggie.
Yeah.
I was raised there. And
did you ever go see him play over there?
No. Yes, I did. I sure did. I saw him play LSU.
Okay.
I went down there with all my coaches. We went down there, had a big time. And I remember he was the punt return guy. And every time LSU punted to him, I had a stroke. I said, don't fumble. Don't fumble. You know, when he caught it, and I was so happy. You know, but they ended up getting beat by LSU that day.
Huh. Did you ever see Woodside play?
No, never in college. Huh?
Yeah. Huh. Well, what about the what about let's jump up to the NFL? We got some job openings. What about the Saints? Where are they going?
Oh man, I don't know. I'd love to see Aaron Glenn get it. But
well, he's the rumor. Joe Brady.
Yeah.
He's a rumor too. There's no telling. They probably come up with who done flung.
Huh? With Mickey Loomis, don't count on anything.
I don't think is he still there?
Who's it, Mickey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
is he still general manager?
He is.
I thought he left. Thought they'd run him out of town.
They're trying, but he is still saying crazy stuff. Yeah, they've got to get rid of him.
What about Jaden Daniels? What y'all's take on how he's playing?
Tremendous. I love watching him play because you
never
know what he's going to do.
I've seen very accurate quarterbacks and I've seen very fast quarterbacks, but I don't think I've ever seen a fast quarterback that can run like he can, as accurate and strong an arm as he has.
Yeah, I mean he's exciting to watch. He's kind of like a Johnny Manziel when he was at Texas A&M, but he and Joe Burrow, that's my two guys I like to watch. My wife watches Mahomes. She's a big Mahomes fan. So,
well, and I remember the Washington coaches before the season started were just amazed at how quick he picked up the offense, and which says a lot about him right there.
That's it. I was glad to see Washington get back in the mix. Wish they'd go back to the Redskins.
I know.
Can't get used to the Commanders.
They should change their name 3 or 4 times.
Washington football team.
Yeah, it's something else. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. I think Baltimore.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Getting into the games this weekend, we got, 4 left, 4 on each side left.
Right,
Who do you see coming out of the – okay, you got it.
Yeah.
That Baltimore and
Buffalo.
That Buffalo game, that's going to be a huge game.
I think the winner of that will go to the Super Bowl. I
think that the winner of that – do you? I'm sort of leaning that direction myself.
I saw where Lamar Jackson said – just laughed when they asked him if he's going to wear gloves. He said, no, I don't wear gloves. But, yeah, that ought to be a good one. Texans and Chiefs. You know, Chiefs, they're a little vulnerable at times.
Yeah,
so
they are.
May be closer than a lot of people think.
You look up and you think, man, the Chiefs aren't that good this year. And then you look up and they're 14-2. And you're like, and one of them was a throwaway game. And you're like, man, I guess they are pretty good.
Yeah. They know how to win.
But it's their a lot of their defense wins a lot of games.
Their defense is carrying them.
Mm-hmm. But do you think that also? Who you have coming out of the AFC?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I see the Ravens and the Chiefs, and I would say the Eagles and the Lions, which would be 2 great games right there.
That's going to be a hard one to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. You think the Bills or the Ravens will get it Sunday night?
I'm going with the I'm going with the Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning
I
the
think
Ravens
they
too.
do. They've been on the doorstep all these years.
Right.
I think hell.
I think adding Derrick Henry, man, Derrick Henry's like 55 years old and just running over people. I mean, nobody can stop him.
He's going down the field toting that house. But
I like watching those guys act like on replay they look like they're running at him and then they just dive to the side, make that business decision.
Well, you can imagine a lot of those defensive backs do not want to tackle him. They say, that could be a season-ending injury for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to dive at his shoestring.
Yeah. Just think about Tennessee letting him walk, and then you got all these teams like Dallas that claim they could have had him, you know? Ends up right beside. It's an odd combination with Jackson and Henry. Mm-hmm. Kind of that thunder and lightning, I guess, deal. But I mean, man, they're hard to stop.
They are.
But that's gonna be that's got a chance to be like a all-time classic game, playoff game Sunday night.
It does, especially with the weather.
And I hope Daniels. I don't know if they're gonna be able to beat Detroit or not, but I hope he shows a
I think he will.
good showing. Yeah.
You never can tell about the pros.
That's it.
Yeah, every time I think I know something, I bet I lose my money, and I realize I ain't know anything.
I quit doing that a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, anything else we want to get into with the college and pros?
I think we did a good job covering it.
So I guess to end it, who you got winning the whole thing?
I'm going to go. I like the Lions. I mean, especially if they can get a couple of guys back.
Lions, Ravens.
Yeah.
And you think Lions take it?
I'm going to go with the Lions.
That'd be a heck of a football game.
It would.
What you think, Coach?
I would have to go with, I don't know. I'd have to go with the Lions. I like Dan Campbell. I pull for Dan Campbell.
I think we're all on the same page, and I think we all got potentially Ravens and Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Detroit win. I mean, they've been the
great fan base.
They've been in the basement for
long
30 years.
Right.
Long time. I wouldn't mind seeing them win. Yeah. Well, Coach, we appreciate having you in here as always. You always got an open door for us, and we always enjoy talking to you.
Well, I enjoy coming over and talking to you two guys.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow's Fish Friday, so you get over there and get you some fish tomorrow.
No, I get their gumbo.
Oh, do you? Okay.
It's gumbo day at Vidalia Market.
Gumbo day, okay. I always thought you got the fish on Fridays.
No.
You like the gumbo, okay.
And every day I have to get my wife fish, take her job at the court.
Okay.
So I go in there and little people in Papa T's don't even ask me. Here it is, Coach, it's already fixed.
Oh, goodness. Well, we appreciate you coming out, man, and we'll have you back here soon. And we appreciate everything you've done and the community and for so many kids throughout the years. And we just appreciate you. So I hope you know that.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, and we appreciate everybody tuning in today. Always a great show whenever we can get Coach Faircloth on the couch. We appreciate all of our partners out there. Without our partners, we can't do these interviews. And spotlight champions like Coach and all these other awesome people that we get to sit down with and share stories. So thank you to all of our partners out there. Try to do business with them whenever you can. God bless everybody out there. And as always, have a champion day.
What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy.